We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
What's up, you beautiful collectors and action figure fans? Once again, it's the one and only Optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And on today's episode, thanks to the absolutely incredible support by the folks over at Hasbro, we're going to be taking a look at the new Ghostbusters Afterlife Plasma Series, Peter Venkman, Ray Stantz, and of course, Winston Zeddemore. We already took a look at the kids in this wave from the Ghostbusters Afterlife film. Now, we're going to be taking a look at the more present-day look of the original Ghostbusters, obviously minus Egon Spengler, which is still rough. I know 100% when I watch this film, I am absolutely going to miss Harold Ramis in that role. But at least from what we've seen with the trailers, the spirit of him, no pun intended, seems to really carry through. For the package, much like all the other ones that we've taken a look at before, got this nice open window, Ghostbusters, Venkman, you can see all of his accessories there. And you can see that, as I talked about, this is more present day. So, while Bill Murray is older, Peter Venkman is also going to be older. And they got him with a whole bunch of gray hair. Come around to the back of the package. And I love this. It says, Professor Peter Venkman. Yeah, we were pretty shocked someone gave this guy tenure. So that's really interesting. I'm curious how that's going to play into it. But again, much like the other ones, he will come with a Build-A-Figure piece, which will allow you to build the Sentinel Terror Dog. Now, taking a look at Dr. Ray Stantz. I mean, I call him Dr. Peter Venkman. I guess he's no longer a doctor. Coming around to the back of this one, it says, Ray Stantz says don't go chasing ghosts. But if you do, call him. Which is definitely interesting because, like, who are you going to call? Ray Stantz. And I'll tell you, when we got that recent trailer, when he comes in his old bookstore and you hear him talk, my mind blew. But much like the other ones, he does come with this Build-A-Figure piece, which appears to be one of the legs. And then we come to Winston himself, kind of the guy that was always meant to be the grounding element for the original Ghostbusters, who was meant to kind of be our window into the world around him. He saw things through basically our eyes. He's always been a fun character. Again, same kind of package thing going on here. Come on to the back, and it says, executive offices are a long way from the firehouse, but you can still always count on Winston. So again, sounds like he's grown up. I'm just, the more that I'm reading this kind of stuff, really does just pull me in more. I mean, Winston seems like he's kind of moved on from being a Ghostbuster. Same thing here with Pete, but Ray does seem to still kind of be holding on to some of those kind of ties to the past. But for the package on these guys, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get them out here and see how cool they actually are. Alright guys, so here we have the OG Ghostbusters as they appear in the new Ghostbusters Afterlife film. And you know, there's some really good stuff about this, but then there's some stuff that just kind of leaves me a little bit confused. Starting off first with Peter Venkman. I honestly think that this is probably one of the best figures. But what's interesting is, accessory-wise, I feel it's kind of silly. So obviously you can see all of them come with the proton packs. But he also comes with these cardboard cards that replicate that test thing that he was doing in the original film. You can see, like, there's a bunch of wavy lines, you got stars, circles, you get several of them. Why he comes with these, I have no idea, because, again, this is from Ghostbusters Afterlife, many, many years after the events of that first Ghostbuster film. So, why he comes with these, I honestly have no idea. It's a bit of a disappointment, to be totally honest. It's kind of cool, but when you're going to be giving accessories to somebody, why would you use ones that you didn't use before, considering we had already previously got a younger version of Peter Venkman? I mean, this is the type of accessory that I would have expected to come with this guy, so that's definitely weird. He does come with this proton pack, as I was talking about before, and that's identical. The only thing that I really feel that's different between this and the other ones is, I don't remember having to attach this to it, but you just plug that right inside there. And then this does feel like it's a more rigid plastic than the other one. Just moving it around doesn't feel as kind of soft as this one. This one definitely has a little bit more pliability to it, but over time I think that that'll kind of straighten out and it'll look fine. But you can see proton pack wise basically the same. The only difference is they have changed some of the lighting areas, like around the center section right here. You can kind of see that the little red dot is in the upper right, whereas this is now in the lower left, but everything else is basically the same. Maybe it's a little bit more dulled down, like the red here is not as bright as that. That's probably the way that it should be, just because it's not as old. This is a much newer version of the proton pack, whereas this one's an older one, so there's that. He also does come with a Neutrona Wand blast effect, which again, I really like that. All of these do. I think that the original Winston came with one. So you kind of have 3 of them, but you got this little rubbery section around this other more rigid orange section. That's really cool. I like that as well. And then again, you come with the Build-A-Figure piece. You can see that the leg does get more translucent purple, which looks good. But again, no articulation in this, and that is definitely unfortunate. I feel like this is just going to be a static piece, but you can see that you got this piece here, and we're just going to plug that in here. Get that in like that. I mean, I feel like that's a weird thing. Maybe that's not even his right leg. Maybe it's this one? Maybe it's that. Oh, yeah, I think it's that. Okay, sorry, I had it in the wrong section. But you can see that you have this translucent thing going through here, but you can see that this has a lot more gray in here, and then it gets to this purple section, and it doesn't fade as much. I wish there was a little bit more paint from this section coming down here to kind of fill that in a little bit more, but you can see this Terror Dog walks around on 2 legs, apparently, for the most part. So, setting him off to the side, and then taking a look at Peter Venkman himself. Again, really nice looking figure, bringing in the original one. One thing that's interesting though is in the original release, the body shape of him was a little bit different. I'm going to take this off so you can see that. He was a little bit more skinny in this one, and that's different here. You can see that he does have a little bit more of a belly than on the original one. Head still looks good. I think that the likeness looks really nice. The head sculpt is completely different. It's not just like a repaint. But the body that they're using, I believe, is the body that they used in the original Ray figure. You can see that he's got that little pot belly. So it's like they took his body and are now putting it on the new Afterlife figures, both in terms of Pete and even with Winston. You'll see that here in a bit, but in general, the rest of it is pretty much the exact same, just a darker color, and they just basically swapped out the body. That's really about it as far as I can tell. I do like the darker coloring of this jumpsuit a little bit more, but the likeness I still think looks pretty good. And let me keep it in the light, and I'll zoom in so you can see it. I think, don't focus on him. I think that the likeness still looks pretty darn good with both of them. I do think that the newer one is a little bit better than this guy, but in general, still really nice. I'm quite happy with how that turned out. It's you know, there's just some small elements like with the accessories that I don't necessarily get. For Ray here, now, like I was talking about, they're reusing the Ray body from the original release, and you can see he's got his little belly, just like the original one did. You got the little pot belly going on there. One thing, though, is weird. It's like his head is ridiculously different. Now, obviously, these are different than... where's it at? I got all my little accessories right here. You got the little ecto goggles here. You got those ones right here. So you can see that those are different. But look how much bigger his head is. I mean, this is a little bit goofy, to be totally honest with you. I mean, there's a huge difference in terms of the head. I don't really understand that. This kind of reminds me of Ray when he was possessed by Vigo, the Carpathian, in Ghostbusters 2, how he had like the regular sized body and a giant sized head. That kind of looks like him, and it looks good. It definitely has that Dan Aykroyd sort of look to it, maybe even a little bit more than the original one did, but I guess that, you know, it's easier to do like a mapping of their head when they're more recent, I guess. I mean, this kind of really, they don't have a way to scan his head. They could probably just scan Dan Aykroyd's head, but again, you got the darker coloring with the jumpsuit and everything. Everything looks really very nice. With him, I don't like that head in terms of the size. Like, the overall sculpt is good. Size of it is ridiculous. I cannot get past that. I don't understand that really at all. Still looks good, though. Like I said, I'm confused why it's comically big looking when you sit there and stare at it. He does come with this proton pack. It's identical to all the other ones. I'm just knocking stuff around. You do have, where'd Pete's go? Did I grab the wrong one? I don't remember which one is Pete's now that I'm looking at. Oh, maybe, I think it is this one. But you can see that, again, they changed the light section, so you can do whatever you want with it. So you do have that. One accessory that's really nice with him is he comes with the Tobin Spirit Guide. Now, there are some speculation that in the film, and if you don't want to hear any spoilers, you can pause the video right now. This is just kind of speculation. Based on what we've seen, is that Egon seems to want to continue his study of Gozer and Gozer's minions basically being like the Terror Dogs and stuff, which, you know, we see the Terror Dogs coming back in it. So there may be some credibility to that. I don't know. But I love the fact that they come with the Tobin Spirit Guide, because this was always the book that really did kind of act as the primary source of a lot of their knowledge. So it's really cool. It doesn't open or anything. You can see the pages have this like off-white sort of thing in there. You got brown, you got cracks and everything. Front section looks really nice with some nice texture. It's kind of hard to read the Tobin Spirit Guide because that's done in a gold color, but you can totally see what it is. So I do like that. And then he does come with the other leg for the Terror Dog, the Sentinel. So get that on there. And again, so now, oh geez, does this guy even stand? Oh no. He doesn't even stand really that well. Oh no. See, this is a problem when you have something that is already kind of like posed or whatever. There's a lot of balance issues here. Let's try something here. This is Winston's Build-A-Figure piece. He comes with the other arm, so we're just going to plug that in there. Maybe that'll help counterbalance him. Oh, that does kind of counterbalance a little bit. So there you go. So when you combine them all, this is what you get. And I mean, again, I do like the way that it looks. I'm not a big fan of the fact that he's stuck in this pose, though. So that's really kind of unfortunate. But at least you could, I mean, yeah, that is definitely a tricky one to try and get him to balance. Oh, wow. Yeah. I foresee this guy falling over my shelf a lot. Cool looking, though. But again, just not really all that fun because you can't pose him in any way. And again, same thing with the legs here. You can see that they just don't fade properly. I wish there was a little bit more of this gray kind of coming down here, filling in. This one doesn't look all that bad. The other one, though, definitely does stand out. And then you got the arm and all that kind of stuff. So there's that guy. And then coming on to Winston again. Now, this is the one that I think is probably the best looking. Head is also a little bit oversized. You can see not nearly as bad as Ray's, but basically the same. And now, again, you're using that more chubby body, whereas his was a little bit more skinny. So reusing that's perfectly fine. You got the coloration, which, you know, obvious. Backpack and everything you can see is removable. All that fun stuff still there. For his accessories, again, he does come with the Neutrona effect as well. But really, that's about it. Except for this piece of cardboard, which is meant to look like a newspaper. And again, much like these cards with Pete coming with them when it should have come with the original release, this is the classified ad. If we zoom in, this is the classified ad that he circled when he first started working for the Ghostbusters. So again, why does he have it? Makes no sense. And then you just have this blank piece of card. So I feel like that's a little bit kind of phoned in. I don't know necessarily why the accessories are kind of weak sauce like this. It's definitely not bad, and I love having a more updated look for these guys, just because I absolutely love the Ghostbusters. It is one of my favorite franchises of all time, and I'm super thrilled that we are getting a new Ghostbuster movie. I have been worried about it for many, many, many years, wanting to get it, and seems like we are now getting a good Ghostbuster movie. I mean, I'm one of those kind of people. I actually liked the all-girl version of Ghostbusters, so it never really bothered me that much. But honestly, this is the cast that I've always wanted kind of returning to us. So I'm very excited about the movie. I'm definitely a little bit nervous about it, but figure-wise, I still really like them. I don't know necessarily if I'm going to utilize them in a display nearly as much as I utilized these guys. My main display is mostly Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters 2. Ghostbusters Afterlife here, or Ghostbusters 3, we'll probably have to have a whole separate kind of thing set up, but I'll more than likely do it just because, again, I love the Ghostbusters. But there you go, guys. There's my look at the new original Ghostbusters as they appear in the new Ghostbuster Afterlife film. So I guess you really could call them the OGs, the original Ghostbusters. If you'd like to pick these up or any other figures, you can check out BigBadToyStore.com for availability. Of course, they are also available right now in retail locations. So if you are looking for them, good luck and happy hunting. I also want to send a huge shout out to the folks over at Hasbro for sending me these figures to take a look at for you. And as always, until next time, remember that I ain't afraid of no ghost.